The California state legislature is overwhelmingly blue and represents one of the most powerful state governments in the country, if not the most. For good reason. California has the 6th largest economy in the entire world by a lot of metrics. And on Sunday, the California Democrats, who mostly control the state, decided to make a stunningly forceful statement against the establishment Democrat who has represented California, their state, in the Senate since before I was even born. I know, I'm super young. They declined to endorse Dianne Feinstein for re-election in 2018. Whoa. The grassroots Democratic activists gathered at the party's annual convention in San Diego this weekend implicitly rebuked the state's senior U.S. senator by denying her the party's endorsement for her re-election bid. Feinstein finished far behind Kevin De Leon, the top Democrat in the state Senate. De Leon received 54% of delegates' votes to just 37% for Feinstein. It takes 60% to receive an endorsement. A third Democratic candidate, Pat Harris, got 5% of the delegates and 3% voted for no endorsement at all. So this is positive news, in my opinion. While the California legislature did end up shelving the single-payer legislation last year that was passed, which was an idiotic decision, they were the state that came closest to making single-payer a reality in America. It's an overwhelmingly progressive state, especially with its constituents, and it makes absolutely zero sense for them to be represented by such a conservative Democrat. And I mean conservative. NPR will elaborate here. She said the Senate Appropriations Committee, which she sits on, would never approve $25 billion for Trump's wall along the Mexico border. But minutes later, De Leon's team sent texts noting that Feinstein had just voted for exactly that as a part of the Common Sense Coalition immigration plan that failed to get through the Senate. To clarify, the bill would have, yes, provided $25 billion for the border wall, but also a path to citizenship for the Dreamers, which was probably her logic. Still weak sauce, but I'm trying to be fair here. I will also be extra fair and say that she supports and has introduced an assault weapons ban, which every Democrat should. 67% of Americans are behind it, but here are the dicey, undeniable facts about her record. She has called single-payer a complete takeover by the government of all health care.
Will you co-sponsor Senator Bernie Sanders' Medicare for All bill? And if not, why?
Not at this stage, and I will tell you why. I will tell you why. Essentially, as I understand what Bernie is proposing, it is a takeover of all medicine in the United States. And I don't favor that. What I favor is taking a couple of problems in the Obama bill and working those out.
That is a right-wing Koch brother donor-soaked talking point. Ugh. And this is the Democrat who represents California, of all places. In addition, she sided with Republicans in support of raising the Social Security retirement age, and she voted in favor of the Patriot Act. I will also add that she supported the Iraq War and warrantless wiretapping, and pretty much every neoconservative position. Yeah. In his speech to the convention, De Leon reminded the crowd that his opponent hasn't always been a reliable liberal. Democrats, you'll never have to guess where I stand, De Leon said, before noting that he has championed issues such as raising the minimum wage, single-payer health care, and the environment. But here's the bad news. Feinstein is outpolling De Leon 46% to 17% among likely California voters, according to the most recent poll by the Public Policy Institute of California. Her financial advantage is even more overwhelming. Feinstein held close to $10 million in cash on hand at the end of last year, while De Leon reported raising just $500,000. 33% are undecided. And the primary is pretty crowded, with Allison Hartson, the Justice Democrat, running, as well as David Hildebrand, who is the Democratic Socialist, running in the race. De Leon seems to be the clear front runner to challenge Feinstein at this point. But it's not all cupcakes and rainbows when it comes to his progressive credentials or his progressive voting. Is he more progressive than Dianne Feinstein? Absolutely. But he's not what we would call a Bernie-crat. He endorsed Hillary Clinton both in 2008 and 2016. However, as president of the California Senate, he has presided over some pretty good things. De Leon led the California Senate in a year when practically every political move in the deep blue state was an act of resistance against Donald Trump. The legislature increased the gas tax to fund infrastructure improvements. They renewed the cap-and-trade system to fight climate change. They made California a sanctuary state, blocking state law enforcement from cooperating with federal authorities on deportation. The Senate passed a single-payer health care bill, which the Assembly then shelved. A cynic would say De Leon engineered the passage of a thin bill that he knew the Assembly wouldn't accept to burnish his credentials among the progressive base. A cynic might be right. A cynic often is. But long story short, Feinstein is vulnerable. She lost her party's endorsement before, actually. When Feinstein ran for governor in 1990, she dramatically declared her support for capital punishment at the state convention over loud boos from the hall. The party's delegates endorsed her more liberal rival, Attorney General John Van de Kamp. But Democratic voters as a whole agreed with Feinstein on the issue, and she won the primary that year. Feinstein also lost the party's endorsement during her first run for Senate in 1992. It's a bit of a different story now, though. She's now a deeply entrenched household name in California, and name recognition is unfortunately a lot of the battle, but could be good because her name recognition is for being conservative. Those poll numbers look pretty good for her, but a reminder that Bernie Sanders covered a 20-point deficit in Michigan. Primaries very much depend on turnout and door knocking. People often forget to vote in primaries or just can't, but I think that this year, in the age of Trump, it might be different to turn out the base. The California Democrats seem to recognize that. Voters are energized and they are craving something new. And that something new definitely isn't Dianne Feinstein.